Ahoy there, Mr. Matey friends. I've got another update for you. It's about ICSA. Remember, I made a couple of videos on this and many posts on Twitter. ICSA is leverage on HEX. Now, I have more juicy information to reveal to you because I found the post I was looking for, and it refers to Alex, which is the founder who's got a great magical beard of ICSA, okay, and ICSA Hedron, and basically he explains everything what's going on. Now, this last post was in August of 2023. So it's been a while and there's no expectations and we don't know what's going on, all right? But, before we look at anything, look at the chart price, all right? So I have the chart price here. Now, here's the thing. In this post, I did something a bit wrong. The price target is actually higher than what we thought. But of course, friends, please, not financial advice. These things can just go to zero, okay? Just because you raise a price target. Now, what I mean by that is the ceiling for ICSA, right? The ICSA HEX ratio, I thought it was still 36. It's not. It's up to 50 now. So from the time of like this viewing, like let's say if you had to buy it like 8, right, the top of this range, and one day it got upgraded and it actually got back to the ceiling price. That's still 500% from there. So the upside can be big. Remember, this is upside on HEX. So if HEX did a 5x and then this did a 5x on HEX, then this does a 25 banger. But of course, not financial advice, right? And let's go through the posts here. So we're going to go through Alex's vision as to what's coming on. So the general theme of it is unity in terms of like, okay, so friends, remember, in a nutshell, if you stake HEX, you can't touch your liquidity anymore, right? But if you do it through ICSA Hedron, so the Hedron platform, you can get an NFT of it. And then you can swap it with each other. But you have to stake through it first. You can't just take your stake and do it there, okay? You got to stake through there, okay? So it's on the website. Now, it creates like a bond market auction for things. Of course, here's the thing though. To be able to buy people's other stakes, the currency needed is Hedron. That's how Hedron was first made, HDRN. Now, here's the thing. For Hedron to inflate into the world, what Alex did was he said, well, if you have a long T-share, so you have a long HEX stake, you will get Hedron automatically. So it gives you an incentive to make very long stakes for HEX, and you actually get income coming along the way. The only problem is obviously all the prices went enormously down, okay? Now, remember, to buy the auctions, if you want to bid on someone's auction, like, hey, I want to buy your 5-year stake that you want to exit now, you're going to need Hedron. But here's the thing. A lot of the big stakers, unfortunately, a lot of HEX sharks disrespected the price. And what they did is they minted the Hedron and they would dump it. So before every HEX stake, you can do that, right? Now, because the price is so low, no one pays attention. Now, here's the thing. The other component of this is ICSA. So you have Hedron, HDRN, and ICSA. Now, ICSA is the missing part, which has been released, okay? Now, ICSA, it doesn't get inflated just by giving it out for free. You can only get it if you buy and stake your Hedron, or you can buy and actually stake the ICSA off the market as well. But remember, what do you need Hedron for? Well, the theory is, okay, if you want to buy someone's auction, you need to buy Hedron and pay with it. That's the currency. So it creates a bid for Hedron over time. Now, what about ICSA? It's a missing part. That's what we're waiting for. But now I'm showing you updates and upgrades, okay? Once again, it's all speculation. So Alex explaining these, okay? He goes, it's time I share what I've been working on. Remember, this is August 2023. He goes, the future of ICSA and Hedron. We've been thrust into a world where we now spread amongst 2 chains. He's talking about PulseChain and Ethereum. In an effort to innovate, interoperability between these 2 chains is, in my opinion, a must. So he's talking about, okay, we've got to connect the 2. He goes, my previous post about the Hedrons, the staking instance is just basically the HEX stakes through Hedron. It's marketplace. It was just a snippet of reality. This is more or less a relaunch of ICSA and Hedron, named ICSA Hedron. So now those 2 coins now basically he's going, hey, we're going to make one protocol. Bang, one upgrade coming. Okay. And he says that the core is basically going to be the same. However, there are improvements, okay? Remember, it's Bitcoin halvening here, friends. A lot of things come around, okay? He mentions, this is not an airdrop. If you have liquid ICSA or Hedron, you have to trade them into upgrade. So it's not here yet. This was just made, just saying, there's going to be a big warning emergency. When this comes out, you're going to have like a 30-day period where all your coins basically got to throw into the protocol and you get the new version. Okay, so it's like, hey, everybody starts out fresh, everything's fixed and everything's juicy, all right? He also says, even if you have the HEX staking instances, you can upgrade them to the new version. Now, this is the website, friends. Remember, app.icosa.pro. You can see it up here. And if you go here, you can see, basically, you can go create a stake. So I can show you the full page here. You can click on, see this button on the right-hand side. You can create a stake and you can stake it through here. Now, if you stake it through there, it gives you the NFT version of that. And you can fulfill your stake until the very end for HEX, or you can trade it. That's the whole marketplace. So that's why we call this like an expansion pack of HEX. I remember David Feeder used this word expansion pack. You know, the real word is derivative. This is a derivative play. Remember, friends, altcoins are all derivatives of Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the monetary base of crypto, right? So we're all derivatives of that. But this is now a derivative of HEX. Okay, so this is where you're adding more risk and exposure and more, obviously more upside if it works out as well. So he says the quick summary. The new staking features get released. You can bid on either chain with a native or a bridged token. You can stake with the native or the bridged in tokens. You can even use the marketplace with a native or bridged token. Hopefully the testnet by Q4, so it's already passed. So basically is alluding to if you have your eHEX and it sits on PulseChain, you can stake on the Ethereum side, okay, and vice versa. You can move it without bridging in. Now, the technology and stuff, I don't know how it all works and everything. I'm sure he's got it all figured out. Okay, it also mentions here you can bid on either chain. So if you, let's say you want to buy a stake on Ethereum side and you're on PulseChain right now, well, you can place a bid for it. Right? I guess it'll do something with Hedron and moving the contract over and bridging it itself. So it's all nice. It's in one protocol. It's making everything interoperable. This is basically the future of crypto. It's just that the systems aren't super fast enough to accommodate for this yet, right? And now he goes, this is where we're going to talk about the HEX NFT stakes. And he continues, all right? So he goes, he's just going to rename them. So instead of HSI, HEX staking instance, they're just called HEX mining instance. I think it's just all like a legal term just to help because of Bitcoin mining, etc. All right, so HEX mining instances can do arbitrary functions, etc. You can have multiple owners. They do not need to be tokenized. They're always in token form. Okay, so there's all these little technical details. You can do things like borrow on your stake, and you can do all these other features, but it's cool. You can go into it if you want, but all that matters is cheap price. That's it. The ratio is cheap. Upgrades are coming. Bitcoin halvening year. Okay, you can go through these details if you want in your own time. So, you know, there's always changes to how the auctions work and everything. Bidding auctions, there's a fee placed. All right. Now, here's where ICOSA comes in. So, staking is now called mining. There are league bonuses, etc. He goes, the HEX mining instance buyback will pay more ICOSA if it's under the ceiling using a Hedron borrow leverage. So, you can see all these quirky little features and stuff coming in. And honestly, it can get complicated. You don't really need to know. These are derivatives and expansion packs and people playing around with the stakes, etc. All right. So there's also, you know, you can go through all these details here. Fee amounts are not public at this time. However, they are related to the Hedron borrow fees. All right. So we're speculating, friends. Remember, there's just these moving parts here. There's the Big Daddy's HEX. Okay. It's Big Daddy HEX. And this is the expansion pack. This is leverage on it. If HEX dies, this dies. But if HEX succeeds, continues to live, then this thing has much more bigger upside. It has a smaller user base of people participating in it as well, okay? So in his final notes, okay, we can go through the final notes. He mentions, once again, this is not an airdrop. If you want to upgrade, you will execute the code by yourself. You have to perform this action. So you can upgrade anything or any of the apps that you have access to if you have any staking instances, etc. He's talking about you got to participate in this. You're going to have 30 days. This is the part where he goes, liquid coins can be migrated for 30 days after launch. After that, your redemption is cut in half and half again. They can be migrated. The stakes can be migrated. This is the We Are All, the SA, etc., etc. Old liquid coins migrated to the system are locked into the contract forever. So it's basically just a moving on. He also mentioned, right, he goes, you know, all of this is subject to change. Private testing, ideally around Q4 of 2023. If you notice, friends, yes, we're now in 2024. So, you know, they say, you know, software just takes time to work things out and to get things through, okay? But ultimately, at the end of the day, his message here, he goes, the whole main message of this is chain unification. use both tokens on either side for whatever you want with perks. All right. So now you get to see. So I've done research here for you. Many people don't know. You go, wow, there's HEX. And yes, like if you have a problem with HEX's market cap and its size and so many, like this is a way to get leverage on it. And you don't have to do everything. Like I'm just saying, let's say someone had 200,000 HEX. Let's say 100,000 just to make it easy. 100,000 HEX. It's possible. You might say, hey man, you know, if I stake it for 1 year, I earn 8% yield. Okay, so I'll earn 8,000 HEX. So what you could do theoretically, you go, well, for 2 years of staking, I would earn 16,000 HEX. So an alternative is, you know, your 100,000 HEX, you take that 16,000 today, you swap it for ICOSA. And then if the trade plays out, remember, and it is a trade and these things can go to freaking zero, friends, any day. If the trade plays out, your 16,000, let's say one day it did go up here, your 16,000, you get like a 6x on it. So your 16,000 times 6, you'd have 96,000. Big if that works out. You're like, oh my gosh, I almost doubled my stack. Yeah. But if you lose 2 years worth of yield. So you got to decide how much that's worth for you. At the end of the day, friends, as well, the best thing to do is to put in fresh fiat, like from the banking system, because, you know, worthless paper. This is just playing around with ratios, but I'm just trying to get some sort of edge just so we can participate in this, okay? So the ICOSA ceiling was higher than I thought. And please, you got to remember, because this thing is thin. It's thin. Like it's so small. The community is so small in HEX and PulseChain compared to the rest of crypto. If you're seeing a ceiling price like of above 10, so not a ceiling price, a ratio price, right now it's like, you know, 5, 6, 7. If you're starting to see it above 10, you might have to say, hey, I don't know if it's worth it because maybe I'd want to get out at 30 or 40 or 50 and maybe you don't know how long that'll take. I don't know. Yes, and there's risk with these. What if Alex has ran away? We don't know, okay? What if it just sucks, right? What if it's just, what if not enough people are going to get excited for it? What if HEX doesn't appreciate as much as we think in terms of price? See, all these risks. Yeah, of course, all these risks, friends. But I mean, I've used this example. There's a spear of the ecosystem, the spear, and then the other things follow. And when they follow hard. But you got to get those things right. You can't just punt on anything, for example. You got to get cheap prices, okay? Because you never really know with these. There might be, look, very possible, friends. PulseChain and HEX go up, and then people just go mad for Teddy Bear, P-Dye, and the Atropa ecosystem. It's possible, and they just completely skip everything else. There's no guarantees with this. I've explained this to you many times. That's why it's a lottery ticket. These are advantages. You can participate with these. You know, there are people out there, for example, they have 100 Bitcoin, and they're watching Ethereum, and they're like, wait a minute, you know, like ETH BTC here. If ETH BTC doubles one day in the future, and I had 100 Bitcoin, and I deployed like 20, right, I could get back 40 Bitcoin when it doubles, right? So I'd have like, you know, I'd have 140 or whatever from that deployment. So, or 120. So these are risks, right? Because you never really know. You're playing with ratios, you incur taxes, you never really know. The ratio is just going to be wherever they want to be in the 2025 Bitcoin halving. I mean, 2025 Bitcoin euphoria, even if we get it and if everything repeats again. So ultimately, at the end of the day, friends, what I've noticed is, you know, I go crazy for ratios. I love them, but I've actually noticed 99% of people don't care. Everyone just cares about the like USD chart. No one actually wants to care about a ratio. So this is just ICOSA USD. It's like 4.5 cents. I don't know. Like people, I know how people think. They're like, wow, can it get to $1 one day? That's a 20x. That's all everyone cares about. You know. So what price was it around the PulseChain launch-ish? It was like 20 to 25 cents, you know, and dropped down here. But remember, it's linked with HEX. So if you've noticed, right, if we go back to the ratio, you can see as HEX kept dropping, this is the ICOSA versus HEX, this dropped more and more down. You see how it's leverage on the way down? So like basically you lost 75% more money holding this than just holding HEX. You see that? Because it's a 75% drop. But now we've hopefully like seen the worst of times. That's why we're heading into Bitcoin halvening here. There's a bull market coming, okay? Also got to remind you, I don't have any inside information. Trust me, if I did, you'd know about it. I don't know anything, okay, friends? And I don't keep anything from you. I don't know. Some people ask me, hey, you started to buy a lot of like poop coins. Like, yeah, Habib, have you watched any of my videos for the past 2 years? How many times have I told you and shown you in my research, in Bitcoin halvening gear, a switch goes off. There's an altcoin frenzy, upgrades come, prices move up, people get motivated to continue more. The bull market starts happening. People like want to buy the rotation of poopy coins, new tickers, new logos. Hey, let's add in limit orders for PulseX might be coming. All these things just start happening in the Bitcoin halvening year. That's when it all starts, and it keeps gearing up and it gets bigger and bigger. The snowball starts. This is what's happened 3 out of 3 times, 2012, 2016, 2020, now in 2024. I know, is history going to repeat again? I don't know. So a lot of people, very spooky friends. I mean, if this ends up playing out, people are going to think, wow, you really are a fortune teller. No, you just kind of like, that's why, friends, if you go back to the charts, I've shown you many times, you can go see literally, I mean, you can even see it in the ETH BTC chart. Okay, you can see in the ETH BTC chart when it comes to like the timing. So this is ETH BTC. You can see, right? Remember, this is monthly candles. But if I put it onto weekly, okay? In the Bitcoin halvening year, look at this. It started here, right? Bitcoin halvening year, look at this. The market just wanted risk. And look, it finishes, look, into July as well. So it has 2 bursts up where the market says, hey, we want risk on. Okay, this is 2 bursts in Bitcoin halvening year, okay? What about as well, previously in 2016, the Bitcoin halvening, have a look at that, right? Look at that. Bitcoin halvening, wow, a burst upwards. So this was like a big burst up, a single big burst up going up. So you can see that visually in Ethereum, but also I can tell you the stories about what was happening and the coins going on around then. So this is all it comes down to. It goes, well, you know, could there be a black swan? Yeah. Could crypto not recover anymore? Yeah, but everything's playing out the same, okay? You've got the perfect setup. Bitcoin went from 16K to 45K. It's done that. It did the recovery, friends. You know, so it bottomed out in 2022. And then, so, you know, having a look. Here it is right now, okay? So Bitcoin, yes, it bottomed out in 2022, but then it just spends a whole year recovering, okay? Please go back, watch my videos again. I said the year before the Bitcoin halvening year is a recovery year. It's recovery. It's jittery. It's just enough hope and cope to see that the industry is not going to zero. But many people's portfolios don't explode. We got lucky to see, you know, Solana and other meme coins and other things starting to move. Yes, it's because people are learning. They're front running the cycle more, okay? Now Bitcoin halvening is here. You get to see more things play out. So with Icosa and HEX, this is how the story would be put together if it does. Now, I don't know how high these are going to go. We can guess. Just going to wait and see, right? Where is everything landing at when Bitcoin is like 50, 60, 70, 80K? Only God knows, right? Make sure you like, subscribe, belly button all. Don't forget to love to catch you soon.